Hello and welcome. I believe this is episode 13 of Voorhees Tiger Vision. I'm your host, Madre Allen. I'm here with Coach Cabral Huff. Coach, season's over, but the job is not done.
Never done. Never done. Probably more work to do now than it was during the season.
We'll start there. How's everything going, man? How are the kids? Is everybody finishing up class and handling business?
We are less than a month away from classes ending, so trying to get everybody to finish up strong. Part of our vision wasn't just to win conference and win like we talked about on the basketball court. We want to have the highest GPA of all the athletic teams here on campus. So our guys know that. That's part of our vision when we came in, and just trying to finish up strong the rest of the semester as far as that goes and get them back home safely to their families. The ones that haven't, left already, we allowed some of them to go home early because obviously it was just athletes here on campus and all the classes were virtual. So we allowed some of them to go home early if need be. So you got that. You got the recruiting aspect. We're still trying to find some pieces for 2021. You have the aspect of, scheduling, trying to schedule games for the next year. And then obviously the other hat I wear is the Booster Club hat, really getting this athletic Booster Club off the ground here at Voorhees.
That's awesome. Definitely a lot of work to do. How are we coming along as far as team GPA and competing the way I know you want them to compete on and off the floor? Are we making good progress?
We are. We had obviously at the midterm, we were pretty good at the midterm, which I was happy about considering, how much we had to travel in such a condensed time. But we were sitting really good at the midterm. So I just wanted to finish up strong. If you can turn that B into an A, let's turn that B into A. We turn that C to a B, let's turn it to a B. And then if we need be, we can take some summer school classes so you can get ahead. Whatever we're trying to do, man, we want to stay on top of the game. We don't want to get behind.
For sure. We talked a little bit about it on the last show, but I do want to bring it back and mention that there was a off-season workout plan that got distributed. And, man, you are as detailed in game prep and in season as you are out of season. You want to talk a little bit about what that summer program looks like?
Well, obviously not having our guys, because of COVID, and letting them go home early and not having them around. Wanted to make sure they stayed on top of what we wanted them to stay on top of. So in our end of the season meetings with each player, I gave them some things they needed to work on, obviously some things that I thought they did well this year. But we got an off-season workout program, basketball-wise and, weight-wise and conditioning-wise that they're going to have to do, on top of the fact that, every week they're going to have to send me 1,000 made shots as soon as the school year ends, when they're not having to worry about school. Because that's what we do. You know how well we want to shoot the basketball. And I don't need them, just sitting at home playing video games just because they're not on campus. So they've got work to do. And then, every 4 weeks they'll get another one, another plan, another workout plan that they'll do that'll have something different in it.
Wait, the plan that I saw, it changes. That's not the plan for the summer. You work that plan and then you get another one.
Work that plan and then you get another one, man. We want to be ready. We can't rest on our laurels of what we've done. We're gonna have a bullseye on our back, so we've got to get stronger. We've got to get tougher. We got to get in even better condition. We got to make more shots. And our newcomers that are coming in, the 4 freshmen that we already got signed, I send it to them because I want them to be ready. Every freshman comes in and thinks, oh, I was a man in high school, so I'm gonna come in and do my thing. You behind the 8 ball now. You fall low on that totem pole, and you got to work your way up. Not saying that you can't, but part of working your way up means you better come in the best condition in your life. You better come in strong enough to compete physically and mentally, to be honest with you.
For sure. Let's stay on freshmen coming in a little bit. You do have some great freshmen coming in next season. Where do high school freshmen, incoming high school players coming into college, are there any particular places that you feel like that they typically struggle for high school kids? What is the biggest change that they have to deal with coming in to play college basketball?
I think every level you move up, whether you're going from middle school to high school to college, college to pros, the speed of the game is going to change. And I think that's one thing they have to understand. The speed of the game is going to change when they get to this level. So you add the speed of the game to it, and then you add the strength level to it. You know, you're not going up, you're 18, 17, 18-year-old, young man. You know, sometimes you may be taking advantage of a 14, 15-year-old 9th or 10th grader on the floor. Well, you're not doing that anymore, and especially at my level, you could be going against a 25-year-old man. So you've got to be mentally and physically ready for that challenge every night, every practice, every day. Not to mention the academic part. The other part that freshmen struggle with is being away from home. A lot of them, so they're going to get homesick at some point, and understanding that they have a lot more free time. So how do they understand time management? So all of those things come into play when you're talking about freshmen. And if they struggle with the time management and the grades part and the homesick part, then that's going to carry over on the floor. So we try to do a lot of things that are going to help them in that area. During this season, we had Zooms even before they got here. When we couldn't get together, we had Zooms where our team would come together and just talk about different things like that.
Coach Tim Kane checking in. How you doing? What's good, Coach? I see AAU has started. A wonderful time of year. I don't even want to approach this conversation as if it's not. It is a fantastic time of year. The gyms are back buzzing, at least in Georgia they are. They're back buzzing. Players are playing. Coaches are evaluating and watching. And I see everybody so hopeful that this could be my day. This game could be my game. My life could change today. And I know some people don't feel like it is that serious, but a college education for most people is a life-changing experience. Getting that offer is something that no player should take lightly, and I don't think they do. But everybody doesn't necessarily understand how to go about receiving an offer or what that process looks like. Before we go into that, I would just love to get your take on the game itself. You stay in the gym. You're always in the gym. So you've seen a lot of high school games, and you've also seen a lot of AAU games, a lot of JUCO games. From a college coach's perspective, what does the AAU game look like?
It's a lot more fast-paced if you're trying to compare it to a high school game, probably because the talent level on the floor could possibly be a little bit better because you've got high-level guys playing all on one team. So it requires a different set of eyes than when you're watching a high school game. Because that same player you could be watching in AAU, you could watch him in high school, and he's a man on his team. Everything could possibly run through him. He may have more leadership capability on his high school team. And then you get to watch him AAU-wise, and you see how he meshes with other guys that may be as talented as him, even more talented as him. He may be a guy that now has to come off the bench. So it's different things that you're watching in AAU. And I just say it's all about your vision and your plan. What are you really looking at when you're looking at a player? How long have you done your research to really dive into this player? We don't offer a lot of players here at Voorhees. We try to do our research on what we actually need, who fits our program on and off the floor. So you won't see a bunch of guys that got offered by Voorhees. If you see the offer, that means we've done a thorough evaluation of them, more than just the one time you think we've seen them on the floor or what the case may be. So I think that's going to be your major difference when you watch that AAU game, the up and down style of it, and the difference it is in a high school game. And a lot of times you got to ask yourself, can these guys coming from high school develop? I think many times people want to look at high school guys, whether they're playing on the AAU circuit or playing on a high school team, Can he come help me right now? And you want that to happen, but we got to be realistic. At a lot of times, high school guys aren't going to make the immediate impact sometimes. So how can you develop them so they can be an immediate impact for you somewhere down the road? So that's going to be very different than what you're watching when you go to a JUCO game, because that guy may have already played 1 or 2 years of college basketball.
I want to stick on that point a little bit, Coach, because I'm not sure that people understand this, and maybe with the transfer portal the way it's looking right now, if people could kind of understand that, decisions may get made a little bit differently. But I'm not sure that high school players or even parents understand that most high school seniors aren't ready to play the college game right away. Why do you feel like that is?
It just goes back to that the IQ, the fast pace, the strength of the game. It's just different. Some players aren't playing with a shot clock. That goes into it. The attention to detail that you have to have at this level. Most times in a high school program, that coach's main job is to teach his class, whatever that class is. So he's probably not getting fired for how many wins or losses he has. 85% of the time. They're going to be a 15% of the time where you're in that kind of program that does do that. But in college, it's all about the wins and losses and the kind of athletes you're producing on and off the floor. So if you're not winning, if a coach can't get in players that represent the school to the highest level off the floor and then can produce on the floor, then probably it's getting a lot quicker now. Probably in 3 or 4 years, they won't be there anymore. So a coach has to evaluate that when they're looking at players. Like, I think a lot of times parents, sometimes even players, sometimes even high school coaches think a college coach can fill their team with a bunch of high school guys, and that's just not feasible if they want to win.
The one question that I get often when speaking with high school coaches about players is they ask me, is he a dog? Can he defend? Mm-hmm. I hear that a lot. Is defense at the college level that much different than, we're talking about players that have been playing defense because it's a part of the game. Mm-hmm. Have been playing defense their entire life, you would think, to some degree, right? But is defense in the college game that much different than what most of these kids are doing in high school or in AAU?
It's a little bit different because the people that are on the floor, probably all 5 of those guys can go score the basketball. In high school, you may only have 2 guys that can consistently score the basketball. So you can play more help defense. You can do a lot of other things that you really can't do at this level. You leave guys open at this level. I don't care what level you're talking about, Division I or NAI, all up and down, JUCO, D2. You leave guys open and they're going to kill you. They're going to beat you. And so that's going to be a little bit different. You want guys that can really defend, that can guard their yard, as we say in our program. Like, can you keep guys out the paint? Because once you let guys get in the paint, now they can become playmakers, which you obviously know that's what we want on our end. But once they get in the paint, they can make plays for themselves and others, and that really kills your defense. So you've got to be able to defend, and you got to have a dog mentality. Like, okay, you may get me this time, but I'm coming right back at you. I can only use a player that we have in our program right now who was a freshman this past year, Ezekiel Williamson-Bay. He was a dog defensively. And when we talked about all the things that he could do and why we wanted him in our program, that stood out the most. Now you add to the part of it that he had great vision, and we think he's going to be a hell of a basketball player because of his vision and what he can do, getting to the rim and making plays for others. But his mentality defensively was really what got him to be a Voorhees Tiger, or what I wanted him to be a Voorhees Tiger, and he accepted it, him and his family.
That was great. And I love Zeke. I think he's going to be a very, very special player at Voorhees for some time to come. Very great player. Do you pay attention when you're watching AAU to a particular team's style of play, if they're running college sets or not, or what the spacing on offense looks like? Do you judge that, or are you strictly looking at individual talent?
You try to look at all of it, and hopefully we've done enough research. I can only speak to my program, that we've done enough research to understand that maybe you can see something that you saw when he played high school basketball, but you can see something different because we've also got to realize the difference in high school and AAU basketball. That kid, a 6'5" kid on his high school team, unfortunately may have to play the 5. And on the AAU team, he may be playing the 3. So after watching a different skill set from that kid to see where can he actually fit in at the next level. And so then you want to understand, is this player's IQ high enough to do what you want to do in your program? And every program is different. You know, if you were just a dribble drive offense, maybe you don't run a lot of sets. So you're maybe not concerned as much as, you know, his mental capacity of what he can take in as far as what you want to run. But there are college coaches out there whose playbooks are 300 pages thick. You know, if you're talking about sideline out of bounds, baseline out of bounds, you know, man sets, zone sets, and, you know, they're looking at something totally different of, you know, what's his mental capacity? How does he know how to run plays? You know, and a lot of times for us, we want to know how a kid practices. I mean, anybody that you have talked to, whether it's our players, our coaches, we compete every practice. And if you're not ready to compete in our practice, you can't play for us.
Wow. So on that note of competition, do you judge anything, or are you looking for anything about a particular player off the floor? Is there anything that may tell you off the court, whether on the bench or around the gym, whether or not this kid is ready to compete at a high level?
If you accept losing, then you're probably not for us. Because we want guys who want to win every time they step on the floor. We want guys that want to battle every time they step on the floor. We want guys who want to have a chip on their shoulder. And we say that because part of our pillars of our program, we're going to be family. We're going to have love and grace. But that last pillar is you're going to be a star where your feet are planted at. And to be a star where your feet are planted at, you may have to have a chip on your shoulder. Because you may say, I'm playing NAI. And don't get me wrong as I say this, because I love where I am at. But everybody knows that 9 times out of 10, most kids don't grow up and say, I want to be a star at the NAIA level.
Right.
So they're going to have a chip on their shoulder to show people, I'm not supposed to be at this level, but I'm going to ball out at this level. And I'm going to show you why you messed up by not taking me. If you're on that bench and you're not cheering for your teammates, if you're not trying to win every possession, if you're not trying to win the game, if it's just about you, because I understand AAU is about trying to get that scholarship offer. But it's also, I want to see, do you care about winning? You know?
Do you watch if guys are diving on the floor or 50-50 balls? Are you watching that for AAU? Because that's not something you normally see for AAU. Guys really get
it means a lot because especially at my level, if I'm watching certain AAU teams, I might not get and I'm just being honest. I want to get them, and I'm going to try like hell to get them, but I might not get that best player that's on the team. I may have to get the second, third, fourth best player on the AAU team. Now, we're not talking the high school team. We're talking the AAU team.
For sure.
So I want to see how hard he wants to go. I want to see is he going to dive on the floor. Because to me, those things impact winning. You know, we stat stuff during our games. We stat 50-50 balls. How many did we get? Like, we talk about us losing by 3 in an NAIA national tournament this year. And as much as we talk about we could have won that game, we statted our stuff and we didn't get enough 50-50 balls. Like, we would get a steal, but we didn't grab it, and they'd go get it back. Like, little things like that, winning. You know, that helps you win games. You know, are you taking charges? And you probably don't see a lot of charges in the AAU, but if a kid is taking them and we see that, I mean, that's something we like.
What about scoring? How much do you evaluate or look at how many points a player may or may not be scoring in a particular AAU game? Can you be, or are you influenced by that in either direction?
Can he score, especially if you're talking about our playmakers? Is he scoring at all 3 levels, at the rim, mid-range, from 3? I think sometimes we can get enamored too much about scoring, and if you don't pay close enough attention, you'll realize that player is only scoring in transition. And you look up and say, man, he scored 25, and 23 of them came in transition. None of them came in a half-court set. like that's not going to translate at the next level. You're not going to be in transition like that. So does scoring matter? Yes, we do want guys that can get buckets now. I mean, you still got to score the basketball, but we've got to have guys that can score in different ways, can score coming off a stagger screen, can score coming out off a pin down, know when to curl, know when to fade. Those things matter to us when you talk about scoring. And we can also see, okay, he's not scoring this game. How is he impacting the game in other ways? So we like scoring buckets, but there's also other ways to impact the game that we're watching. But again, it goes back to research, plan, vision, and then what we feel of our development is going to be. Because we've probably seen that kid more than just this one time we're watching him in AAU. So if he has a game where he only scores 6 points, it's not going to stand out as much if it's our first time ever watching the kid like, oh, well, he can't help us. We're pretty diligent in what we're doing, even at our level here at Voorhees.
Great stuff. Great stuff. Have you noticed any changes about the game as of late, last 5 years, 10 years within the AAU game? You've been around this game for a long time. Any changes, any positive, negatives that you've seen about how the game is being played? Are we maybe shooting too many threes, or like, what's your evaluation on that?
I do think, and part of it is what we watch at the highest level right now. We are shooting a lot of threes. We have guys that, probably don't need to be shooting as much shooting threes, that could concentrate and impact the game in other ways. And they're spending a lot of time hanging around the perimeter. And I think that's probably the biggest change we've seen. I'm not one to kind of talk about or harp on, are there any bigs out there anymore? That's not, because I think you can get a 6'4" guy that you can use in a post up that can really do his job. I mean, Joel for us was really big on the block, getting it done as a 6'4" man. So I just think it's the threes. You got to know what's a good and a bad three. You come down and there's only one pass or no pass and you're jacking up a long jump shot. They may go in early, but somewhere late in the game it's going to be your downfall. Long rebounds lead to leak outs, lead to easy transition buckets for the other team, and eventually your legs are going to go. Like, you got to get some ball reverse. You got to move the ball from one side to the other, and the best threes are always inside-out threes, where you're getting the ball, you're getting to the paint, you're getting to the middle of the floor, and then you're kicking out if you can't get all the way.
I love it, Coach. I also love a good ball reversal, but I'm 41, so I may be looking at some things a little differently than the youth, but I think that's a great evaluation of what you're seeing and helpful.
I'll add one more thing, Muncher. I think we probably see more ball screen stuff. I think that has probably been something in the last 4 years that has really taken off, more ball screens. And the sad part about it is I think a lot of kids don't even know how to use a ball screen. They never attack it. They're going east-west instead of going north-south. And sometimes the ball screen isn't to get you to score. You're trying to get somebody else a bucket. But, that's a clinic right there. We'll have to spend a lot more time on that.
Hey, Coach, I can just record this part and chop it and play it for my team, because that's what I say to them. We are horrible using ball screens. So, Coach, let's talk about, we talked about evaluating AAU and what it is that you're looking for when you're at games. But let's say potentially you found a player that you like. You've seen a kid and said, hey, this kid will be a great fit for me at Voorhees College. Let's peel back some of the layers and help players and parents kind of understand what the recruiting process looks like. When you see a player you like, do you always offer right away, or what is that process like?
For us, we're going to do a lot more research. So again, never the first time of seeing someone are we going to offer. And if it's the first time, if people think it's the first time we've seen them, they're probably wrong. We probably have seen them a long time before, and they just happen to still be on the table, or they're out there available for us. The next step is to try to see, try to dive into their circle. Who's in their inner circle to really get to know the kid? Like, we've got to find out, is this the right, we call it RKG, right kind of guy. You know, better people make better players for us. So we want the right kind of people first. So once we find that out, now we got to find out, okay, what's this kid's GPA? What's his test score? Because that's going to be important for us. Because we've said it on this show again, we don't have 13 full scholarships at Voorhees. So I can't go out here and offer 13 guys and get them 13 full rides. So we've got to figure out how we're going to use other ways to get them in school and get them money, the least, so they don't have to pay, you know, or not have a lot to pay to come to school. And grades matter. You know, we've talked about what you can take, what you can have here. You know, I think I talked about it on Dave's show, Hoops Him Jams. Like, you got a 3.8 and a 1,000 in SAT, and you don't have to pay anything to come to Voorhees.
Mm.
And so if we can find a kid like that can play, because they're out there now. I don't think people realize there are kids out there that can hoop like that, then they can come for free. You know, so we try to look at things like that. And then once that happens, now we want to see, is the interest genuine? You know, are you going to turn your back on us because we're an NAIA program? Are you trying to wait for a bigger school? Are you truly interested in what we have to offer? Because what Voorhees has to offer is extraordinary. You know, whether it's, you know, our programs, you know, our degree programs that we offer, the family atmosphere, the tradition that's here, you know, being a HBCU founded by an African-American woman, whatever you want to talk about, we got it here at Voorhees. So we're going to sell ourselves. We're going to sell our program to them. And to be honest, you know, in our program, we look at things a little bit different. We want a mixture of high school guys and JUCO guys and transfer guys. And we want to get our high school guys early if possible, because they're the people that get most of the academic money. So if you're talking about waiting for a high school guy till May, it probably won't happen in this program. Like, because all the academic money is going to be it's going to be gone at that time. So if you have parents or players or coaches out here listening, waiting to the last minute is not going to help you. From most programs, it's not D1. And even that D1 program is not going to help you, because they have a certain number of guys on their list that many times it could be which one of these three is going to take it first.
Wow. So and I want to use this because I think that's great for people to understand. So in today's climate, where, as we talked about, players want a Division I level scholarship, and a lot of times they're trying to hold out to see if they can pick up a D1 scholarship before they make their decision. In today's climate, where Division I coaches aren't able to travel to go see games probably until June or July, and even then we don't know for sure because there's been no official announcement. They could end up without the academic money they need to supplement any athletic money that they need from a lot of institutions. People don't know, not just NAIA, but even at the Division II level, the vast majority of those programs, even at the Division II level, don't have enough money for, like you said, 13 full scholarships. That has to be supplemented from somewhere. I believe we're saying that kids could really hurt themselves if they don't truly consider a good quality offer if they like the program at a different level.
Times are a little bit different because of COVID, because, you know, just a lot of stuff, the transfer portal, all of that. So I think parents and players and coaches need to look at it a little bit different. 2 years ago, you probably could wait and still have something, you know. I mean, that probably happened a lot at the NAIA level, sometimes at the D2 level, where they were just waiting. And this would be a great time because the spring AAU period was buzzing and all the people were in the gym. And you probably knew at that point, well, I'm not getting this Division I offer because I done played this live period where the coaches were there and I didn't get a Division I offer. So now I got to take it. And usually that was in April. So now they knew before May got here. But what's going on right now, there are a lot of people who are continuously going to wait. And even if you just take the transfer portal right now, there are more transfers in that portal than there are spots on teams. And not to mention, people are getting their year back. So where are all these players going? If you're just talking about those transfer guys, you're talking about the high school guys, not to mention JUCO guys get their year back. Those JUCO players who are not coming back or looking for places to go. We've got to be honest with people, and you may want your kid to go to the highest level available. And I've said it before, and I will say it again. Here at Voorhees, we are about developing people and developing players, and we want you to be a star where your feet are planted at, and we want you to be here. But we are also okay if you come here and do what you're supposed to do, which is the reason why we recruited you, and some bigger team comes after you after the fact, then we've done our job. And I will say it to anybody that's listening. We've done our job. I've told a couple of recruits here so far, if you go look at that transfer portal, there are some D2 guys who have made the jump up to D1, have already committed. There's a D3 guy who made a jump up to D1. So stop worrying about levels. I wish some people watched the national championship game in NAIA last night.
Guys can play. Guys can play.
You came to some of our games. You came to some of our games this year, Monday.
Guys can play, man. I've saw guys. There aren't many high school kids, and I watch a lot of basketball as well. There are very, very, very few high school seniors that could do anything with Stat Levine or Hector Rosario. Ain't nothing. You can't do nothing with them. They're, very, very few. And I don't think people realize that guys can really play. All over NAIA. Yeah. Went to go see Life play. I've been to see Dalton State play. So basketball is really high level.
It is. Too many times we just look at, just like, the young man saying right here, it's not D1 or bust. But I'll say too many times people only think that because that's all they watch. That's all they see. If it's not on ESPN or ESPN2, then they don't watch it. And I've said it before, take some time, wherever you're from, whatever city you're in, if you have the opportunity to be blessed to have a JUCO nearby, a D3 nearby, a NAI nearby, a D2 nearby, and a D1, go and watch practice. Do yourself a favor and go and watch practice. Because I'm pretty sure most coaches will let you in.
For sure. Much more of an open environment, especially to learn. I can't wait until things gear up. I've got some practices that I want to hit for sure. I've got a lot more to learn. So we've gotten to the point where you found a player, you like them. We've initiated some conversation. That offer may or may not come right away. We know for you guys, most likely it will not be right away. It'll be after you've had some time to really watch and do some homework. But you've decided now, let's say you've decided to offer a player the scholarship. You're selling your program to the player. Does anything change for you after that point that you've offered in your mind? Are you looking for anything specific about that kid after you've made your offer?
I'm trusting my eyes and trusting my research, to be honest with you. I could go watch the kid after I've offered him. He can have a horrible game. And all I'm going to do is probably text him or tell him after the game what I saw. Like, you didn't do this right, you didn't do this right, but it's not going to change what I think this player can become once he gets to Denmark, South Carolina. Because I believe in the development. I believe in the plan that we're going to have for the player. And that's just me. I may be a little bit different. But again, we don't offer a whole lot of people. So I don't have to sit back and say, oh, shoot, he didn't play well. Well, now I'm feeling this other guy a little bit better. Like, we're really not about that. We keyed in, and I'm not ashamed. We keyed in on 5 high school guys that we wanted to get done, committed, wrapped up early. We got 4 to 5.
Wow. It's something about having a focused plan that pays off when you know exactly what you want and what you value. And it seems like the guys that you do have value the program as well because they didn't drag out their process, kind of knew what they wanted and got it done. Are there anything that happens that kind of gets in the way during recruiting? Any common mistakes or things that parents do that maybe they shouldn't? Or AAU directors, any advice to any of those people who are around the kid that are helping make these decisions? It's okay to blast this. I won't be offended.
They just gotta look at the bigger picture. Where's the kid gonna be happy? Where can the kid develop? And is it more about these 4 years or is it more about the 40 years? Don't go to the higher level that doesn't have your major just because you want to play D1. And when I say that, I don't mean like, so you want to be a finance major, but you may have to do business. That can still work. But I'm talking about they don't have it, period. Like one of the big things we have here that we're able to offer, we're one of the few programs that have an entrepreneurship major. Like, so there are a lot of kids that in this time and era, they want to be their own boss.
Yes.
We got it for them right here. You want to be a mass communications major? We got our own radio station on campus. Like, come on, like things like that should matter to you because it's more than just the 4 years you're going to play. Are we setting, like today we had a Zoom, which my basketball players were on, our sports management people were on. We had some other, people that were in the school that were on with an NBA personnel guy on a Zoom.
Wow.
So we're talking about stuff that's setting you up after you finish playing basketball. I think parents and players got to think about that kind of stuff. That's just me. I mean,
next 40 years extremely important, for sure. Man, that's a great wrap up of AAU and recruiting. I'm going to ask this last question because it comes up often. Today, a lot of times, we all know a kid gets offered. A lot of times there are edits that get done and blessed to receive, posts and tweets and stuff like that. I guess I'll ask this question first. Do you guys see that as a compliment or how do you guys view that?
Every player is different. Some players want to, post it out. I don't have a problem with it, especially for us, because that means you're actually taking us seriously if you're willing to do an edit for us. So I'm just keeping it real. Like, we won. So if you're going to do an edit for us, that means you don't care about what level you're playing at. And it doesn't matter that it's all, because some people only do edits for D1 schools. And they've been offered by some D2 schools and you never hear about it.
For sure.
So I don't have a problem with it. To teach his own, hopefully we're not the 15th team that offers a kid. Hopefully we've already done, so it's not the 15th time he's put it out there. So
Right. Okay. What about interest when you're just having conversation? No official offer has been made. A lot of times an AAU program or director will post that, I'll just grab a school out of nowhere. University of Tennessee has been in contact with Justin Smith. What are your thoughts on people posting that maybe you've had contact with a player?
As long as it's real. Because, as a college coach, even here at Voorhees, I've been contacted by people who say, hey, have you been talking to such and such? And I'm like, I don't even know who that is. So you've got to keep it as an AAU coach, as a player, as a high school coach, or whoever's working with the kid. It's got to be real. Like, was it an initial conversation? Hey, tell me about the kid. Heard about him. Or was there a legit interest? Like, hey, I want to see some more film. I'm going to try to get down there to see you guys. Whatever it be, like, there's got to be legit interest. It just can't be a filler call that was filled out, I think we've got to be more careful. We got to be careful about what we're tweeting about the interest part.
Hey, you directors out there, don't be a rookie. Don't be a rookie. Don't tweet interest. The initial kicking the tires. I want to know about your kid. Call. Don't tweet that. Coach, we're gonna get into. You had some guys receive postseason awards. We're gonna get back on your current team. Let's kind of talk about some of the guys that made all conference.
No doubt. Obviously, Hector Rosario, sophomore Hector Rosario, 6'3". Had the pleasure of coaching that kid in high school, man, and just to see his development and where he is right now and where he's going to continue to go. He led our team in 4 to 5 categories: scoring, rebounding, steals. 3 of the 4 steals, and he was second in assists. And he was just kind of multifaceted for us. And I just tell kids, man, he's a kid that is steadfast, fought through adversity, got cut as a freshman. I wasn't his coach then, but got cut as a freshman in high school and just kept working. Didn't start legitimately until he was a senior in high school, like on an everyday basis. And look where he is now. He transferred to us. He believed in my vision. To me, and I may be saying this because I'm a little biased, but if a guy wants to continue to play for you after you coached him in high school and he transfers to you from another school, I think I did something right?
You did pretty good, Coach. You did pretty good because that high school transfer portal is probably bigger than the college transfer portal right now. So you did something right. We'll keep going.
Oh, man, Taiwan Bowie, probably one of the first people I met when I got the job here, and just our leader of our team just does everything, gets in players' faces when he needs to. He's a junior. He's going to be coming back to us, knockdown shooter, can play both guard spots. We missed him in the national tournament because he wasn't able to play for us, and I don't make excuses, but I do know it sure would have looked good having 21 on the floor. Because even defensively, he's just so good. He's so good on both ends of the floor. So, having those 2 guys back, 2 all-conference guys back in your backcourt, along with Jordan Blue. So you get your 3 starters in the backcourt back, man. Along with your guys who are able to give you great minutes off the bench, like guard play is everything. Guard play is everything.
It really is. I enjoyed Taiwan Bowie, and you can count on him to knock down a few big threes, big shots as well. So,
and our senior Staten Levine, like we're gonna miss this guy. He's really a 6'5" wing, man, and he played the 4 for us this year. With some COVID stuff, he had to play the 5 sometimes and never complained. We even brought him off the bench sometimes this year. He never complained about anything. He just played his game. And he showed up big time for us in the conference tournament. 29 and 14 in the semifinal round and another double-double in the championship game. He just did everything. Could step out and knock down threes, could go in the post, could handle the basketball. So it's really an honor and a blessing to coach those 3 guys who were able to make all conference here in my first year. And you look at the development of those guys just since January to the end of the season. We talked a little bit on a previous episode, both those guys, Staten and Taiwan, took tremendous jumps, shooting-wise, percentage-wise, scoring-wise, rebound-wise from last year. And then Hector transferring in, his stats went up from where he was last year too. So just the development that we have in our program. And it's not just those 3. Those 3 were recognized, but, just a blessing to coach all these guys.
For sure. We've got some video here, kind of a look back on the season. Let's take a look.
ends. I got you stuck off the realness. Listen very closely, I can keep shit coming like all these is all around your ball. So back with your track, their ears begin to walk. I got you stuck off the realness. Listen very closely, I can keep shit coming like all these is all around your ball. So back with your track, their ears begin to walk. My mind thinks the matters. I'm gone with the wind. I know you want to enter, but I can't let you in.
Ori, the beat dealer. Ori, the beat dealer. Ori, the beat dealer.
That is incredible. That's
That video show just, I tell people that was January 4th. You get a team to move in. First day of practice, you play 8 days later. And less than 2 months later, you're conference champions. That says a lot about those guys, those young men, man. A lot of them learning to play with guys for the first time. So that's why we're so excited about next season, because we bring most of these guys back. And we like the guys we got coming in. And we like the guys that we're still trying to recruit. We want those guys to come on and be Tigers. And this right here is what we're about, man. Champions of character. And we talked about Taiwan Bowie being our leader. And, there were only 2 players in our conference named to that by the NAIA, and he was one of them.
Champions of character. Doesn't surprise me that someone from a Cabral Huff team gets an award like that when you talk about being a high character guy. But Coach, there was another question that I wanted to make sure that we asked you before we got out of here. You're a TV star now.
What? Who are you talking about?
How has life changed? Are people asking you for autographs now since you made your big television debut? Is it different moving around campus now?
I'm moving the same. I have no idea what you're talking about.
I'm going to show the viewers what we're talking about here as Huff makes a big TV debut. Let's take a look.
Greetings, I'm Dr. Ronnie Hopkins, interim president at Voorhees College. Listen, COVID-19 is a serious situation. Over 500,000 people have lost their lives in the United States alone, and many, many more across the world, especially in African American communities and communities of color. At Voorhees College, we want you to take the vaccine as soon as you're able to, as soon as it's available, for the protection of yourself and of others. At Voorhees College, we want you to take your shot.
Hi, I'm Nurse Williams, Director of Health Services here at Voorhees College. COVID-19 has significantly impacted our lives. Let's take our lives back and get fully vaccinated. Take the shot.
I'm Cabral Huff, head men's basketball coach here at Voorhees College. Give up a good shot for the shot that saves your life. Take the shot.
Whether you're young or old, take the shot.
Man, you went and did some research, man.
Hey, so Coach, we got questions. Did he make the first one?
He actually did make the first one.
I always wonder with commercials, how many times.
Here's the funny part. So he makes the first one, and they weren't recording.
I love it.
The best part for me, though, see that this is what a basketball coach. Did you see palms out when I made the passes?
Yeah. Hey, listen, and I know you wanted to say, give up a good shot for a great shot.
Yes.
I love it. I love it. I am now fully vaccinated. I'm happy about it. I hope that others will do the same. We know nothing is 100% foolproof, but we can try to make it a little bit better day by day if we can.
I mean, obviously, saving lives is the first and utmost importance.
Sure.
But if we want to get back to some semblance of being in gyms and watching games, then let's get this shot. Let's get vaccinated. I can hold up mine. I've done my part. Do your part, and we can hopefully have some semblance of a regular season next year.
Regular life. We definitely need that back next year. How are we looking schedule wise? Are we close to being ready to announce? I know I'm chopping at the bit. I know it's early. The season we just ended the season a week and a half ago, but I'm ready to go for next season.
We've got some things on the table. My Georgia people, you'll be able to see me. Don't worry about it. You'll be able to see me.
Yeah, give me that Kennesaw State, Georgia State matchup. Give me one of those. University of Georgia, somebody, Georgia Tech. Give me one of those matchups, man. I love it. Clark, Atlanta, all great options, great matchups coming back to the city.
Definitely.
But y'all gotta pay them. Come on now, you gotta pay Voorhees College to travel.
He said it, I didn't. I appreciate it.
All right, Coach. Anything that we have closing? Do we want to give an update on Summer Explosion?
We do, man. If you'll throw that image up, I think you've got it. We are locked and ready to go. June 16th and 23rd. We're really showcasing the city of Denmark. It's not just about Voorhees. It's about Denmark, South Carolina. Using Voorhees, using Denmark Tech, and using Denmark Ola High School. But we want some of the best teams in the area in South Carolina and Georgia and Alabama and Florida and North Carolina. We want all you guys to come on down and let's have a great team camp. You're going to be guaranteed 3 games on each one of those days. 2 games at least with a shot clock, which will be very important, especially for my guys in Georgia as the shot clock thing starts really getting revved up this year. And we just put this out today as Thursday? I think we just put it out Monday. And we've got 7 teams locked in already from Georgia, South Carolina, even a team from Florida. So we've got, our good buddy Lenny Williams from Woodville Tompkins is going to come down. We've got Johnson Savannah. We've got Bamberg here where we're getting one of our recruits, Jacoby Crosby, who's committed to us. They're coming. We've got Aiken High School. We got a couple more, so we're excited about it. We're very excited about it.
I like it. Love it.
And shout out to, really what makes this possible is those relationships we always talk about. Coach Andre Payne, people don't realize Coach Payne, who's the head coach at Denmark Tech, he and I were in the SWAC together when I was assistant at Alcorn State. He was the head coach at Mississippi Valley when I was there. And then you talk about his assistant, Douglas Bird, who we all know is from Atlanta, has done a great job coaching at different levels. And then even you go to Denmark Ola and Hercules Davis. He's a alumni of Voorhees. So to really make this thing family, we try to keep it good here in Denmark.
For sure. I think the summer, I think it's going to be a huge deal. I know there are people who haven't experienced it yet. And it may not sound like a huge deal. But once you experience it, then you'll be able to understand how big of a deal it is and how great this is for high school teams and for high school players. And we're talking about, again, especially, we could see the NCAA make a change, and we have an evaluation period in June. So and we don't know.
Not only that, it's a way for us, ourselves and Denmark Tech to get a look at different players, but it's a way for those players to get a look at what it's like on a college campus.
Yep.
Sometimes high school teams don't get that opportunity.
Get to see that facility.
I know and you know this, when we were able to do it in Georgia, I don't care if USC Aiken, if Limestone, if Claflin, whoever wants to come in and evaluate and watch games, that's fine. And obviously, I'm always open to a call if somebody says, hey, what did you think of a kid? Like, it's just not about just, are you supposed to play at Voorhees and Denmark Tech? We're all about helping kids, man. And that's another part of what this Denmark Summer Explosion is. South Carolina has a bunch of kids that can play, and we want to make sure they have an opportunity to be seen, just like we did when we were in Georgia.
And I think it's going to be great because the competition level gets ratcheted up a notch when college coaches are in the gym. No matter what level, it turns into something different, a little more competitive, can be a little more chippy when there are coaches watching, which I think is a good thing because it's really going to help those teams get a lot out of it because guys are really playing hard.
Correct. I agree.
So don't be surprised if you see members of the Love the Game Network just so happen to be in Denmark that weekend or that day.
And we strategically, especially on both weeks, that Wednesday, we strategically placed it right before. If the NCAA decides to have those 2 weekends, evaluation weekends, we place the dates right before that so kids and teams can be ready. Like you don't want to be playing the week before, you haven't played right before that opens up. You want to be ready to go so they can see the best of your kids and your team. Awesome.
Coach, we're at the end of our show. Any final remarks as we get ready to go?
If we're recruiting you, commit to the V. Commit to the V if we're recruiting you. Be the change. Be the change, man. I tell people that all the time, like, especially in this climate right now, be the change, do something different, and be a star where your feet are planted at. Because we're going to treat you like family. We're going to show you love because we're going to coach you hard, but we're going to love you hard. And we both going to have some grace because nobody's perfect. But you're going to get truth and trust out of us. I mean, even if you see on the show, we're just about truth and trust. And we're going to pour into you. We're going to pour into you on and off the floor. And I think any guy that has played for me this year here at Voorhees or previously can say that we're going to always do that, and I'm going to always do that.
Outstanding. Coach, as always, man, we appreciate the time that you give us week in, week out to keep us updated on the program, everything that's going on in Denmark, South Carolina. We can always count on great information. And we definitely appreciate that, being able to get us geared up already for next season. So thank you guys. Thanks everybody for watching. This is Voorhees Tiger Vision. Your host, Madre Allen, here with the coach, and we are out.